So hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to solve the LeetCode problems of SQL joins. So this is basically the part 3 of the LeetCode problems of SQL. And in today's video, we'll solve the basic questions related to joins. So let's get started with our today's video. So first question that we are going to solve today is question 175, combine two tables. So what the question says, so you have a table person and another table address. So here the columns are person ID, last name and first name, where the person ID is the primary key. And this table contains information about the ID of some person and their first and last name, please. And the second table is the address table, which has address ID, person ID, city, state. So here the address ID is the primary key. And each row of this table contains information about the city and the state of the person with ID is equal to person ID. So we have to write a solution to report the first name, last name, city, state of each person. If the address of person ID is not present in the address table, report null instead. So basically we need to display every person, and if the address is not present, that we have to display null. So basically this is my left table, this is right table. So I need to display every record from the left table. Basically I need to use a left join, correct? So first I need to display basically. And you display the first name, last name, city and the state. Now first name and last name will come from this particular table, that is person table. Okay. So select first name, comma, last name. Then I want to also display the city and the state. So city, comma, state. So is this clear? Yes. From table person. This is table person. And let's say I'm giving the table alias P. So here I should write P dot first name and P dot last name. Then I need to left join this particular table with address table because I need every record from the left table. So I will write here left join with address table A. So I need to write here A dot city and A dot state. Now on what condition I need to join this particular table? Wherever the person ID is matched. So person ID from person table is equal to the person ID from the address table. So I need to write here P dot person ID is equals to A dot person ID. For this particular condition, I need to join the table. So if I run this particular query, it is accepted. So I hope you understood this. It was a very easy and simple question. Let us move to the next question, that is product sales analysis. So here we have two tables again, sales and products. In sales table, sale ID here is a primary key, combination of columns with unique values. And product ID is a foreign key, which is a reference column to the product table. Each row of this table shows a sale on the product ID in a certain year. Note that the price is per unit. Okay. So basically here product ID is a foreign key and product table is here with product ID and the product name. Okay, so we have to write a solution to report the product name, year and price for each sale ID in the sales table. We have to return the product name, which we'll get from the product table, year and the price. Return the result table in any order and result format in the following example. So let's say for example, here we have two tables. So we want each sale basically. So here we have three sales basically, 1 to 7. Sale ID 1 is for product ID 100, that is Nokia. So Nokia, and sale ID 7 is of product ID 200, that is Apple. So Nokia, Apple, and year and price we have to display here. So let us try to write the code for it. So select what things we need to display. We need to display the product name. So select product name, comma. Then we have to display the year and we need to display the price list. From which table? Sales table. From sales, let's say S. And from sales table, we have year. So S dot year and S dot price. Okay. And we have to join this table. Join this table with products table. Products table, that is P. So we are going to take product name from the products table. So we'll write here P dot product name. On what condition we have to join? So on S dot product ID is equals to P dot product ID. Whichever sales are done For that product ID equals to product ID, that only records I want. That's why I'm going to use your inner join. So if I run this particular query, I will get the answer. So I hope you understood this particular problem also. Let us move to the next problem. That is replace employee ID with the unique identifier. Okay. So what the question says. So we have a table employees with column ID and the name where ID is the primary key. Then we have another table employee unique where the ID comma unique ID both together combination is the primary key. Each row of this table contains the ID and the corresponding unique ID of an employee in the company. We have to write a solution to show the unique ID of each user. If a user does not have unique ID, replace just show null. Okay. Return the result table in any order. Let us try to understand this with example. So here we have employees table and employee unit table. So what output we have to get? So here in employees table, you have ID 1, 7, 11, 93. And for employee unit table, ID 3, 11, 90. There are unique ID 1, 2, 3. Okay. So for ID 3, the unique ID is 1. So we have to replace this particular in this employee table, this 3 with 1. Then similarly 11 with 2. 11 with 2. Then 90 with 3. 90 with 3. And these remaining IDs 1 and 7, they are not present in the unit table, employee unit table. So there we have to replace that value to null. So which values we want? Which values we want? If this is a left table, this is a right table. We want all values from the left table. And wherever there is a matching record, replace them with a unique ID. And wherever there is not matching record, replace it with none. So here we have to use the left join basically because we want all records from the left table. So select in the output, we want unique ID and the name. So we'll write here select unique ID, comma the name. Then from first table is employees, that is left table. Employees E. From employees table, we are taking the name. So we have to write here E dot name. Then we have to do left join with right table, that is employee unit table. So employee unit table, let's say EU. So here I have to write EU dot unique ID. Okay. On what condition we have to join this table? Wherever the E dot ID is equal to EU dot ID. So here I have to write where on E dot ID is equal to EU dot ID. So wherever the ID is same, it will display the unique ID and the name. And wherever the ID is not same, then it will display the unique ID as null. So this is the working of left join display. So if I execute this particular query, so I will get the output accepted. Yes. So I hope you understood this particular problem. Let us move to the next problem. That is customer who visited but did not make any transactions. Okay, so what this question says. So we have two tables, visits and transactions. So in visit table, we have visit ID and customer ID. Visit ID is a column with unique values. And this table contains information about customer who visited the mall. And in transaction ID, in transaction table, we have transaction ID, visit ID, and the amount. It is a column with unique values for this table, and also it contains information about transaction made during the visit. We want to write a solution to find that IDs of the user who visited without making any transactions and the number of times they made these type of visits. So basically, we want such customer IDs who visited the mall but did not make any transaction and how many times they did not make the transaction. Basically, if they visited the mall 3 times and did not make transaction 2 times, so we need to write their customer ID, how many times they visited, 2. They visited 3 times but did not make the transaction, that is 2. So we have to display 2 there. Okay. So for example, let's say for example, we are looking for customer 54. So 54 has visited 3 times, correct? For the visit ID 5, 7 and 8. But only he had made transaction when he visited for visit ID 555. So he had made transaction only once, but twice he visited but did not make any transaction. So we need to write here customer ID 54, number of transaction count is 2. Similarly for 30. 30 has visited once but did not make any transaction. So 31. 96 has visited only once but did not make any transaction because visit ID 6 is not present here. So that means the transaction ID is null for that visit ID. That's where the count is 1. Okay, I hope you understood this. Let us try to write the query for this. I will show you this query step by step. First, I will write select star from the table visits, let's say V, and we have to do left join. Why we have to do left join? Basically, we want all the visits to be considered, and then we'll check. We want all these visits to be considered, and then we'll check which visit is matching. So here 5 is matching, 1 is matching, and 2 is matching. Correct? For only these 3 visits, there is a transaction. For other visits, there is no transaction. So for that visits, the value of the transaction ID will be null, and then we'll count that null visit. So this is the logic behind it. So we are using left join in transactions with transactions table T on v dot visit ID is equals to T dot visit ID. Correct? If I run only this particular query now to show you the output, this is a wrong query for this particular problem. But if I run this to show you the output, so you will get something output like this. So you can see here in the transaction table, only we have 3 visit IDs, 5, 1, and 2. Correct? For that only transaction ID is there. 2, 3, 9, 12, 13, 8, and whatever it is there. For rest of the visit ID, that is 4, 6, 7, 8, it should be null. So for 4, the transaction ID is null, visit ID null, amount null. For 6, it is null. For 7, it is null. For 8, it is null. Correct? So that is what we need. And now we are going to count this particular thing. So you can see here for 5, you can see customer ID 54, 54, 54. So for 5, he has made the transaction. But the same customer ID for the visit ID 7 and 8, the transaction ID is null. So we'll count this particular null 2. And then we'll display this particular customer ID with count no transaction is 2. So here from this table, we have to take only that transaction ID where the value is null. Correct? So here I need to write the filter where the T dot transaction ID is null. So if I write this particular filter where T dot transaction ID is null, it will only fetch that particular rows where the transaction ID is null. So that now we can count which particular customer ID has how many transactions null. So that we can display the count no transaction as 2, 1 or whatever it is. So now if I run this particular query, again I will get wrong answer. But to show you the table, I'm running this particular thing. Now in this case, I will get the output where only the transaction ID is null. So now from this, we can fetch for the customer ID 54, there are 2 null transactions. For customer ID 30, there is 1 null transaction. For customer ID 96, it is 1 null transaction. Now we have to only display the customer ID and the count number of transaction. So now in this case, here instead of select star, what we can write in? We can write v dot customer ID, comma, we want to count star. What count star will do? It will count the number of records. Basically, here, how many records are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 records are there. Correct. So count star as count number transaction. Now here, if I run this particular query, again it will give me error. But to show you what is the output. So in this case, what output I am getting? I am getting customer ID 30, count number 4. Why? Why I'm getting like this? Because I'm not grouping it by customer ID. I want for each customer their individual count, right? I don't want the how many records are there. I want each customer's individual count. So I need to here group it by customer ID. Customer ID is v dot customer ID. Correct? Now if I run this particular query, now I will get the correct answer. It will group it by customer ID and it will show the count as per that particular customer ID. So now I will get for customer ID 30, the count is 1, for 96 it is 1, and for 54 it is correct. Okay. So I hope you understood this particular problem. Let us move to the next problem, that is employee bonus. So in this particular problem, we have 2 tables, employee table and the bonus table. In employee table, we have employee ID with the column with unique values. Then we have name, supervisor, and salary. Okay. And bonus table, we have the employee ID, which is a unique value. It is a foreign key to the employee ID from employee table. and each row of this table contains the ID and their respective bonus. We have to write a solution to report the name and bonus amount of each employee who satisfy either of the following. So we have here conditions. Employee has a bonus less than 1000. Employee did not get any bonus. So either of these both conditions should be satisfied. Okay. So basically try to understand this with the help of example. So basically we have bonus table. In bonus table we have two employees, employee ID 2 and 4. That is Dan and Thomas. So here for employee ID 2, the bonus is less than 1000. And the second condition is or the employee did not get any bonus. Okay, or the employee did not get any bonus means we have to include this particular employees also, Brad and John. So we have included Brad and John, null, or employees who have bonus but less than 1000. So that is employee 2, that is Dan. We have not included Thomas because he has bonus but greater than 1000. Okay, so let us try to write the query. So select. We have to display the name and the bonus. Okay. From the table employee E. So from name we will get from employee table. So E dot name. And we have to left join basically. Why we need to left join? Because we want every employee here to be checked whether it has bonus or not. So left join bonus table B. Okay. So here we'll get bonus B dot bonus. Okay. On which condition? Where the employee is matches. So 3 equal to 2, 3 equal to 4, no. 1 equal to 2, 1 equal to 4, no. 2 equal to 2, yes. Okay. So we'll match it with E dot employee ID is equals to B dot employee ID. Correct? Now, is this particular query enough? No. We need to filter now. Filter this particular table. Now, this will give me some table. If I write here, select star and execute, this will give me wrong answer. To show you the table, I will get this kind of output. Now from here, I want only that particular rows where the bonus is less than 1000, correct? Or the bonus is null. There are two categories. The employer did not get any bonus means the bonus can be null or less than 1000. That means I want only this particular three rows. And in these three rows also, I need to display here E dot name and B dot bonus. Okay, B dot bonus. Okay, now here I will make the filter where B dot bonus is less than 1000 or B dot bonus is null. If I run this particular query now, then I will get the correct answer. Then I will get only this particular three records. Brad null, John null, and Dan 500. So I hope you understood this particular problem. Let us move to the next problem, that is students and examination. So till now we solved the problems where we have two tables. Now here we have more than two tables. So we have three tables here. So basically students table, student ID and the name is present where ID is the primary key. And then in the subject, we have subject name. Only one column is there. Subject name is the primary key for this table. Okay. And we have examinations table which have student ID and the subject name both. So there is no primary key for this table. It may contain duplicate values. Each student from students table take every course from the subject table. Each row of this table indicates a student with student ID attended the exam of subject name. Write a solution to find number of times each student attended each exam. The result should be in order by student ID and subject name. Okay. Let us try to understand this with the help of example. So here we have student table. There are 4 students and 3 subjects. And the students have appeared for examination. Okay. So student 1 has appeared for math, physics, programming. Then student 2 for programming, student 1 again for physics, math, like this and so on. So how the output should be basically? The output should include every student basically. Okay. And it should be order by student and order by name. So we have student 1, that is Alice. The subject is math, physics, programming. So this subject are nothing but that particular subject for which he has appeared for examination. So maths, physics, and programming. Again, physics, maths, and math. So for math, the student has appeared for 3 times. We have to count also the how many times it has appeared for same subject. Okay. Then for physics, 2 times, programming 1 time. So total 6 times appeared. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So I hope you understood how we have to display the result basically. So now we need to understand how we can solve this particular problem. So first thing, we need to combine this particular table, students table and subjects table. Student table and the subjects table. Because here it is written, each student from the students table takes every course from the subject table. Now from this line, each student from students table take every course from the subject table. It means student ID 1 will take maths, physics, programming, all the three. Student 2 will also take math, physics, programming. Student 13 also will take math, physics, programming, and so on. Here, every student is taking every subject. So there is a combination, and each combination we have to take. So for combination, we make use of cross join. So basically here we make use of first cross join with this particular two tables, student table and the subject table. So first I'm going to write select star from student table. So students S cross join with the subjects table. So subjects cross join with the subjects, and for this we don't need any condition basically for cross join. It is just combining each row with every row, correct? So if I execute this particular thing, this is a wrong answer, but to show you the table output, I will execute. Okay, so what output do we get? So basically you can see that Alice is combined with programming, physics, math, all three subjects. Similarly, all the students is combined with all three subjects. Okay. So now we completed this particular statement. Each student from students table take every course. Okay. Now each row of this table indicates that a student with student ID attended the exam of subject name. Okay. Now each student has taken every course, but which particular exam he has attended, that we need to check from this particular student ID and the subject name. So basically now we need to compare this particular student ID with the examination table. So 1 equal to 1 and math. So then we'll count the count of the math will be 1. Then again 1 equal to 1 physics, count of physics will be 1. Count of programming will be 1. Then again 1 physics, the count of physics will be 1 plus 1, 2, so on. So we need to check for the each student ID. So we have to apply a left join basically. For each student, we have to check for this particular cross join table. So this we have created one table combining the student and the subject. Now for this particular table, we have to apply the left join. Left join on the examinations table. Examinations, let's say E, on S dot student ID is equals to E dot student ID. Okay, let's say I'm giving the students table as S. Okay, so S dot student ID is equal to E dot student ID. And let's say subjects table alias is SUB. So this is clear. Now, once we do left join on this particular thing, now what we have to display? We have to display also the how many times he has attended the exam of a particular subject. For math 3 times, for physics 2 times. So we need to count that also, right? Okay. So we need to count that also. So we need to see whether the subject is also same or not. So here we need to apply the condition to basically two things. The student ID, the same student ID should be same. And for the same student, we have to check whether the subject is also same or not. So we need to also check here subject is in the subjects table. So SUB dot subject ID is equals to E dot subject name. Sorry, not subject ID, subject name is equals to E dot subject name. I hope you have understood what we have done here. Why we have used two conditions. Basically, I am checking whether the student ID is equal to that particular student ID. So here 1 is equal to 1. But I'm also going to check whether subject name is equal to this particular subject name or not. So that I can take a unique row from this. So for that particular student, this particular subject, and make the count 1. So this is my unique particular condition. Okay. Now, here I need to group it by the particular student and the subject also. Not only for the student, but the subject also. Because for that particular student, ID 1 or the student name Alice programming. So this should be one particular row. Alice physics, this is another particular unique row. Alice math, this is another particular row, correct? So I need to group it by s dot student id, comma the student name, s dot student name, and also I need to group it by the subject also, sub dot subject name. So I hope you understood what we have done here. Okay. Now also they have told us we have to order the result, correct? Return a solution to find the number of times each student attended. Return the result table order by student ID and subject name. So lastly, we need to also write order by student ID, that is s dot student ID, and the subject name. So sub dot subject name. Okay. Now what things we have to display here? We have to display the student ID, student name, subject name, and attended exams. So okay. So here I can write select student ID. So s dot student ID, comma the subject student name, so s dot student name, comma the subject name, so sub dot subject name, and lastly we have to display the count. So now what will be the count? Here it will be count of what? Subjects. For which subjects? For that particular subjects for which the student has attended the exam. So e dot subject name, e dot subject name as attended exam. So I hope you understood this particular thing. So we are displaying the student ID, student name, subject name, and count of the subject name as attended exam from this particular student, cross-joining with the subject. So after cross-joining, we'll get something like this. Now we'll left join this particular table with this particular examination table. Now it will get checked for the condition where the student ID is also equal and the subject name is also equal. For that particular condition, it will do left join basically. To show you the output, so what I can write, if I comment this particular thing, this, and also this. And if I write here, let's say star. So if I run this particular query now, okay, I need to write the condition. So sorry, sir. So on this particular thing. Okay, if I execute this particular query now, then what output I'm going to get? See here. So it is going to left join with this particular examination table, correct? Student subject examination. It is going to left join that cross join table with this particular examination table where the condition is student ID equal to e dot student ID and also the subject name. So 1 equal to 1 and for programming, the student ID is 1. Now for physics, for the physics again. Okay, so one with physics, one with physics again, one with math, one with math, one with math, like this. So it will combine for every student ID and the subject. Now if I run this particular this query, group by student ID, then it will group it. Correct. So it will group it. So if I run this particular thing now, so basically now it is going to group it. So basically now I will get only 3 records for Alice for programming, physics, math because it is grouped by the student ID, student name, and subject name. Okay. Since I have not mentioned here the count of the record, that's why it is not displaying the count. If I mention the count also, then it will display the count also basically. Then it will get ordered by this particular student ID and the subject name. Okay, now if I execute this particular query, so accept it, I will get the expected output. So I hope you understood this particular problem. Let us move to the next problem. That is managers with at least 5 direct reports. This type of problem we have already solved in the SQL joins video where we implemented a self-join display. So we have an employees table with ID, name, department, manager ID. ID is the primary key. Each row of this table indicates the name of employee, the department, and the ID of the manager. If manager ID is null, then the employee does not have a manager. No employee will be manager of themselves. Okay, we have to write a solution to find managers with at least 5 direct reports. So here we have employee John, department A, manager ID is null, means John is not, there is no manager for John, basically. Dan, manager is John. Then James manager is John. Amy manager is John. Annie manager is John. And Ron manager is also John. So basically, John is manager of 5 employees. That is nothing but 5 direct reports. Now let us try to write the query. Okay. select star from. We have only one table, that is employees table. Employee. Okay. Then we have to join it with the same table only. Employee M. The first table I'm giving the table alias as E, and for the second table I'm giving the table alias as M. We are doing a self join. So why I giving is E or M? Because I need to here compare whether the employee ID is matching to the manager ID or not. So I will compare for this table, I will see the employee ID, and for this table, I will see the manager ID. On E dot ID is equals to M dot manager ID. If these two IDs are equal, so in this case, 101. For the 101, it is equal to null false. 101 equal to 101, true. So now the result will be 101 then a John, and the count will be 1 for John. And similarly, if the count is greater than 5, sorry, greater than equal to 5, then we will include that particular employee. Okay. If I execute this, I will get wrong answer, but to show you the table, I'm executing this. So what M dot manager ID is on clause. Okay, manager ID is manager capital ID. Okay. If I run this particular query, so basically what output I'm going to get here is 101 John A manager is null. For 102, you can see here, then the department A, the manager ID is 101. For 103, 101 like this. So from this, now what I want group it by the manager ID, group it by the employee ID, sorry. Group by E dot ID, also the E dot name. Okay, also the E dot name. So I'm going to group it. Then what things I need to display here? I need to display only the employee name. So E dot name I'm going to display. And I want only that employees. So I need to filter this particular group. So I need to use here having that particular employees whose count is greater than or equal to 5. Correct? So this is the query. So if I run this particular query, I will get the expected output. Yes. So I'm getting here 101 John, sorry, output as John, because John is only the particular employee who is a manager of 5 employees. At least 5 records of this. Okay. So in today's video, we solved 7 LeetCode problems related to basic SQL joins, where we discuss about the left join, we discuss about the inner join, we discuss about self join also. Then we also discuss about how we have used aggregate functions, then where filter, having filter with joins, etc. So in the next part of the LeetCode problems, we'll solve intermediate problems related to joins. So if you find today's video interesting and helpful, do like, share and subscribe the channel for more such videos. Thank you so much for watching. Keep learning.